TLE7 Dressmaking Week 8 is all about hazard and risk in the workplace. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to identify and evaluate hazards and risk in the workplace. Explain the causes of hazard and risk. And avoid hazard and risk in the workplace. Hazard and risk in the workplace. Workplace health and safety are important factors in any sewing industry, either in hand sewing, using a sewing machine, or even both an electrical or manual sewing machine. Employees or individuals encounter several risk factors such as awkward arm, neck, trunk, leg postures, and back pain. Safety measures have to be taken seriously, especially when sharp-pointed objects are used, such as scissors, tacking pins, needles, and other equipments. Sewing involves lots of opportunities for injury. Some of these are obvious, but some are less so. Sewers can injure their bodies in almost imperceptible ways. Taking basic precaution will reduce the risk of injury in the sewing room. Let us define hazard. It is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone under certain conditions at work. Risk is the chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect if exposed to hazard. It may also apply to situations with property or equipment loss. There will be no risk if there is no hazard, meaning hazard is anything that can cause harm. It can be a chemical, electricity, a ladder, while risk is how great the chance that someone will be harmed by hazard. So, risk exists if there is a hazard. Types of hazard. Number 1 is a biological hazard. A biological hazard or biohazard is a biological substance that poses a threat to the health of living organisms, primarily humans. This could include a sample of a microorganism, a virus, or toxin that can adversely affect human health. Number 2, chemical. A chemical hazard is a type of occupational hazard caused by exposure to chemicals in the workplace. Exposure to chemicals in the workplace can cause acute or long-term detrimental health effects. Number 3, physical hazard is an agent or factor or circumstances that can cause harm with contact. Safety hazard are unsafe working conditions that can cause injury, illness, and worse, death. While ergonomic hazard are physical conditions that can pose risk or injury to the mucoskeletal system, such as the muscles or ligaments of the lower back, tendons, or nerves of the hands or wrists, or bones surrounding the knees, resulting in a musculoskeletal disorder or MSD. And lastly, the psychological hazard or work stressor is any occupational hazard related to the way work is designed, organized, and managed, as well as the economic and social context of work. Hazard and risk in sewing. Sharp edges, knife, blade, scissor, and pins are hazards. You are risking your finger or your hand from poking or cutting. Intervention. Stay alert while working. Use pin cushion to secure pins and proper handling of scissors. Wet floor. It becomes risky if you slip and fall when you walk on wet floor. Intervention. Keep your work area dry. Wipe any form of liquid in your work area. Hazard. Poor or bad posture. There will be a risk of having a back pain, spinal dysfunction, joint degeneration, rounded shoulders, and fat belly. Intervention. Establish a good sitting posture and use cushion to your back to feel comfortable while working. Hazard. Lightning. Risk. Eye strain. Intervention. Make sure you are working with good lighting and it should be in front of your working area. Hazard. Box. It becomes a risk if you improperly lift your box. It might cause a back injury. Intervention. Do not lift more than your weight and do not put pressure on your back. Hazard. Frayed cord. Risk. It may cause a shock or electrocution when you plug and use. Solution or intervention. Do not touch or use any frayed cord. Call an electrician to fix the problem. Hazard. Cloth dust or fiber. Possible risk. It might go to your lungs and may cause respiratory diseases. Intervention. Use a face mask when working with fabric. Here are some hazard symbols and their meaning. This one is for general warning, for irritant, for biohazard or biological hazard, symbol for chemical or poison, a symbol for electrocution or high voltage, radiation hazard, highly flammable, and risk of explosion. For your learning task 1, identify if it's a hazard or a risk. Number 1, sewing machine. Number 2, poor posture. Number 3, box. 4, sharp edges, knife, blade, scissor, and pins. And number 5, using a sewing machine with an open wired cord. I will give you 30 seconds to think of your answers. And your timer starts now. Time is up. Let us try to answer. Sewing machine is classified or belong to hazard. It will become a risk if you do not know how to use the sewing machine. Number 2, poor posture is a risk. It will lead you to a permanent uh, back pain or strain. Number 3, box is hazard. It will give you a risk if you do not know how to properly lift a box. Number 4, sharp edges, knife, blade, scissors, and pin. These are all hazard. It will become risky on your part if this poke you or cut your finger. Number 5, using a sewing machine with an open wired cord is a risk. You will be prone to electrocution or electric shock. Did you get it all correct? If yes, congratulations! For your learning task 2, identify the type of hazard when you see this symbol. Your clue: a substance that poses a threat to the health of living organism, a virus or toxin that may adversely affect human health. Your choices: safety, ergonomic, psychosocial, biological, chemical, or physical hazard. The correct answer: biological hazard. Number 2, clue: a type of occupational hazard caused by exposure to chemicals in the workplace. Prolonging the exposure may cause acute or long-term detrimental health effects. Your choices: safety, ergonomic, psychosocial, biological, chemical, or physical hazard. The correct answer: chemical hazard. Next, clue: unsafe working condition that can cause injury, illness, or worse, death. Your choices: safety, ergonomic, psychosocial, biological, chemical, or physical hazard. The correct answer: safety hazard? Clue. Any occupation hazard related to the way work is designed, organized, and managed, as well as the economic and social context of work. Is it safety, ergonomic, psychosocial, biological, chemical, or physical hazard? The correct answer, psychosocial hazard. Last one. Clue. These are physical conditions that may pose risk of injury to the mucoskeletal system, such as the muscles or ligaments of the lower back, tendons or nerves of the hands and wrists, or bones surrounding the knees, resulting in mucoskeletal disorder. Your choices: safety, ergonomic, psychosocial, biological, chemical, or physical hazard. The correct answer, ergonomic hazard. Did you get it all correct this time? If yes, congratulations. You are now ready to take your online test. If not, you may go back to our lesson, review the video, and you may ask any question for clarification. Your online quizzes will be posted on your Google Classroom classwork, and you may type any question regarding the lesson on your FB page where I used to post all the video lessons. Let me share a quote from Sir Brian Appleton. Safety is not an intellectual exercise to keep us in work. It is a matter of life and death. It is the sum of our contributions to safety management that determines whether the people we work with live or die. This is your TLE teacher, Teacher Berna, saying God bless you all.